Shalom. So today we're going to look at Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, "Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands." Her hands meaning her intention and her deeds, right? Now, sometimes we read these scriptures and because it says woman, we just limit it only to woman. And sometimes it says man and we limit it, not realizing it's just talking about, it's general. Because think about it. Is it only wise women who build their house? And is it only wise women who build their house, pluck at their house? It's the same thing with men. A wise man will build his house. A foolish man will tear it apart. Right? So we're gonna look at some examples of how a foolish person tears his or her household apart. All right. So the first thing we're gonna look at from the male standpoint, right? What are some of the things that we as men do that rips our home apart? One, we change ordinance. Change ordinance mean what we originally started with. Then a few years down the road, we want to go back on that. And I'm gonna give an example here. It's not really to say it's foolish, but these things can happen. And I did this also, right? Sometimes you may go into investment that don't really turn out how you expected it, right? And we know a lot of people can lose in this way, but going into investment is not a bad thing, right? But sometimes it can be a gamble. Not that per se that would actually tear the home apart, but it can contribute because not everyone can deal with those type of situations, right? So, but then the way I started before coming into this truth, I was about doing all these things, getting money, and it's all about the hustling, right? That's the me that she knew, the person at that time, right? She knew me as that person. Now, after coming over into this truth and then doing the investment and so forth, then things start to go bad, everything changed. She did not know that side or prepared for such a thing, right? So those things can cause your home to fall apart. Not saying it's actually foolish to invest, right? And we know it is natural because in 2019 when the COVID came out, basically 2020, that's when it got to this side, right? We see how many homes were affected. A lot of people got divorced during those times because what? That's when a lot of us realize how much it is not us keeping each other together, but it was the money, how we were balancing each other, right? So know that a lot of jobs were closed down, a lot of people were spending time together and they were seeing how they really feel about each other. That was not my case, however, but these things did happen. These were people's experience in that time of COVID. A lot of relationships fell apart. A lot of people realized how they were feeling about the other partner, for the fact that they had to be around each other on a day-to-day basis. Because sometimes going to work every day or studying, we never spend time to realize that our feelings change, to what extent. We might know that something changed, we don't really feel that same way, but we never spend time to see to what extent. You understand? So we live in that lie because every day we just get up, go to work, come back home, you're so burnt out, you don't have any time to really pay attention to, your mental and emotional state. So that is one way. But another way some men do it, and we see this a lot with men who are coming into this truth and they hear about, oh, it's okay to have more than one woman, biblically, but never actually learn the principles, right? So what they do, no, they just want to get another woman, and because of that, they tear down what they had established. So when you had your woman in the beginning, it was a monogamous relationship. That's what you both agreed on, right? But now you come into the truth and you realize that, oh, Jacob had more than one wife. Yes, but you are not Jacob and that was not your situation. Probably you cannot even afford a second wife, right? So you drop this bomb on your wife, you destroy it because you become too ambitious. A lot of homes fell apart because of ambition, right? So that's one way of changing ordinance. Or think about a person who has his career, right? And now you get up into your age, you want to drop this career and you want to say go play football. You want to go play for the country or whatever it is, right? You want to be a singer, right? No, things are not flowing the way things used to flow. You destroy your home because you change the ordinance, right? Now, the second way in which we destroy our house, our home, is insecurity, right? And from this insecurity, there is a jealousy that comes out of it, and this can be very destructive because one, it makes you start to misjudge your partner, right? You start to see things that aren't even there. Once they're talking to the opposite sex, for you, there's a hidden intention. And every time you accuse a person of something that they're not doing, it can be very draining, right? It's different from you're seeing cheeky moves, or you don't know the person too well, or their judgments, or their ability to control themselves, and you're actually judging from that. But when there is no sign of anything and you are creating signs out of your own imagination, that can be very destructive to relationships, right? So that's another foolish way. The thing is, the jealousy in itself is a natural emotion, right? Anyone can feel that. It doesn't have to be even into an intimate relationship. These are natural. But the ones that come out of our own insecurities, that's different, right? Because our own minds start to create things that aren't even there, start to create partners that aren't even there, right? And it tampers with the trust. It makes you accuse a lot, right? So insecurity is another way that we destroy our homes. We keep accusing of something that they're not even doing or have no intentions of doing, right? Now, another way in which we destroy our homes is envy, right? So, for example, this man has his wife, right? But he is lusting after another man's wife. So what happens? Start giving all these attention and doing stupid things, right? Until that same message comes back around to his wife. Now, the wife is a respectable woman, is an honorable woman. So guess what? She's not going to put up with that foolishness. Right? So you have what you want already, but you crave what you don't have. And not only that, but you crave what belongs to someone else. Right? So a lot of us destroy our homes for envy, covet, lustful desires, rather than learning how to control these subtle desires. We act upon them instead. And now while we're there busy trying to gather these things out here, Home is left unprotected. Home is falling apart. But we cannot see it because all we can see is the desires that we want to fulfill. So a lot of us destroy our homes through envy, right? Now, another way we destroy our homes is polygyny. How do we do that? You have a wife, right? Whether you're tired of her or whatever the situation is, rather than you go and work on the fact that something is not right in the home, what we do is try to get other women to complete us. So now we take on other women. Now they start to do what? Pray up on our desires for them. So they will have us doing everything to get rid of this woman that is already there, so that they can come in the picture. And guess what? It's a cycle. Because as soon as you replace this woman, you are now looking for another one to replace this new one. And we're trapped in that cycle and not realizing it. We start to use the lawful things unlawfully. You cannot put away your wife just to get another one to replace her. You are taking on other women that you cannot maintain. Know what? You keep going to court for maintaining this, maintaining that. Yet you want to add more wives. We want to take the polygyny, we want to accept the polygyny, but we want to neglect the principles that come with it. Also, you because of this polygyny, we start to disregard how the woman that we are with actually feel. No, they are too emotional. Because we cannot meet their emotional needs. They are overly emotional all of a sudden. Too often, we try to use the Bible to shut down people's emotions, people's feelings. Where is the compassion? Oh, the Bible says you can have more than one wife. So, you don't care about how anyone feels. All things are lawful, not all things are expedient. Right? You know inside that you would like another wife. You don't know how to bring about this subject to your wife to see if she is in agreement with it or not, if she accepts it or not. You are now trying to force it because, oh, the Bible says so. Yes, but that was not what you and her originally agreed on. Right? Another thing that a lot of men do is, because of this concept that the man is the head, we start to perceive that men are here, but women are down here. And that's the wrong concept. Because this concept also destroys home. Because now we're trying to be like a master for the wife, rather than her actual husband. Equal in terms of a balance, creating a balance in the home. Just because the man is the head does not mean that the woman is the tail. We need to get that understanding. A lot of men disregard what their women have to say, and the funny thing, or the disrespectful thing about that is they will take that same advice from other women that they are not with and go and apply it. How should you think? How do you think your woman should feel when she understands that the same thing that she told you, you disregarded it, but another woman told you the same thing and it made sense to you? What is that actually telling her? What is it actually telling you about how you feel about her? Just because women might be emotional, it does not mean that they don't have wisdom. Don't let that be your downfall. Because you're equating emotional to lack of wisdom. Right? Another thing that a lot of people do, talking about men in this case, is withdrawal of sex. And this comes in to a form of rejection. It can be perceived as a rejection because not everyone has the ability to discern, to recognize that you might be rejecting this sex and not the actual person. So from the other person's standpoint, she's going to perceive that you are not rejecting the sex, you are rejecting her. And rejection opens a lot of doors up here. And we can go into a whole list of things that people do after being rejected. Rejection will make you do things that you yourself never imagined you could be in such a low position. You could even do that. Because guess what? You don't even have to have a desire for it. But when those doors are open, all these spirits come in, all these demonic thoughts come in. To do what? Destroy yourself, because you are now seeking to be validated. So you are not having sex with her? No, she really needs to know if something is really wrong with her. So now she goes to other men to see if that's really how she is. So what do you think will happen now when she go out there and then other men crave her body, other men giving all these compliments? You contributed to that. However she reacted to that situation, that is on her. However, it doesn't take away the fact that you contributed because you did it intentionally. It is different if she's being a monster and you know that naturally it can turn away the mind, right? For example, what if she's being nagging, miserable, or accusing you of things, or doing all these destructive things? Your body's not going to be in this mood for love and romance, right? So that's different. But when you do it intentionally, and this is why I wrote it here, intentionally doing something, right? So these are just few examples of how foolish men destroy their own house. Shalom.